So we haven't been able to talk about this in person, but ASU in the college football playoff. Has that sunk in yet?
Yeah, I think it has.
Okay.
It has, but what a crazy year it's been. You and I have talked mostly off the air because frankly, ASU hadn't given fans much of anything that they wanted to hear about.
Yeah.
If we were talking about ASU a little bit on the, I was on the air a little bit last fall and winter, it was mostly negative things and mostly, even going back to the Ray Anderson Herm. And then with Dillingham, you saw last year, it was amazing to me. I would watch the games with such interest just with the creativity, what he had to do to survive. Survive a game.
Scadaboo playing quarterback.
So many O linemen down. So many, quarterback going down. Bourget was in there a lot, but then if he got and they would try to put the ball in the hands of Scadaboo or Conyers, and it was actually quite amazing. It was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, this is more fun though.
Oh well, yeah. But I mean, even the fact that it was, I guess, says something that they were competitive in a couple of games that, you would not have expected.
Yeah.
So, due to the creativity of Kenny Dillingham using those guys. And then Scadaboo, his ascension, what he's been able to do, the electric runs where he just refuses to go down, takes on contact, it's just so much fun to watch. And I think for me, Utah was the game where we were out there at that game and I could immediately see that they were going. I was like, they need to win this game because Cam Rising wasn't moving around very well, and they part of that was I think coming into the game, but then defense beat him up a little bit, and I give a lot of credit to Sam Levitt playing through some injuries and or an injury, I guess. I mean, at this time of year, everybody's a little bit banged up, Scadaboo as well, and then now they've had a little rest. It's just been so exciting to see it build through the BYU win, through the Big 12 championship, which was, I mean, you lived it. I mean, how amazing was that?
That was crazy. And what was really wild about it is, how there's that nervous energy around the fan base and even sometimes the media up in the press box when you get to a big game like that of just kind of, okay, it was done in the third quarter. There was no nervous energy. Everybody knew the game was over in the third quarter. Everybody.
Which is kind of a great feeling because you haven't had it, the prosperity, again, it's been building, and then to go into that game and really dominate in a lot of ways and just pull away from that Iowa State team. And then to get to this point and the other night, so I got to ask you something. I didn't get out there. I did see a picture though of where you were, and they had the Peach Bowl trophy from 1970, right?
Yeah.
That looked so cool.
That was cool. That was
as cool as the Big 12 championship trophy is.
And they had the Territorial Cup there too, yeah.
Neat, yeah, that's awesome. Because it actually has peaches.
Yeah, it does. I asked,
real peaches,
and they were...
Because they would be a little moldy now.
Are we sure those are in there?
50 years ago.
I guess they're plastic peaches. I don't know, or if they just re-put, they weren't real peaches, but I didn't know if they put different ones in there. Because even if they were plastic peaches, they've held up pretty good for 54 years.
That's what I was thinking. I know, they looked pretty good. And... So this is so exciting. Some of my family's going. I love to see the fans all getting, everybody was talking on these, chats and trying to get together and just talking to each other via text and on the phone about how are we going to do this? How are we going to coordinate? Are we flying into Atlanta? Can we fly into somewhere else? I think I know people, I think even my family's flying to Birmingham or something, and they're driving because it's been hard to get the tickets.
That's how big this is you're willing to do that.
Yeah.
Because that I'm not going to say once in a lifetime because, ASU could very well be back in the playoff next year or the year after or whatever, but this is the first time in a lifetime they've never been in the college football playoff. And it's been cool to see, you and I have talked about this before, even halfway through the season. It's been cool to see former players that are this is they're in on this team even before they were 11-2. The next thing that's going to be cool, at least from my perspective, Jody, if you look at all the games, and I don't know about you, but I don't remember, there was not a game this season, individual game going into being okay, ASU's going to have their hands full. This is going to be tough. Not that I thought they were going to win every game, but every game they went into, even the Big 12 championship, they looked better than Iowa State this season. Iowa State looked good, but if anything, you would say they were even going into that. Their next opponent's going to be Texas or Clemson. If it's Clemson, I'm going to kind of have the same feeling of this is a very winnable game for ASU. If it's Texas, it's going to be tough. But you give Kenny Dillingham and this coaching staff a week and a half to prepare for whoever it is, and basically 3.5
really
weeks
longer
to
because they're
prepare.
kind of looking at everything right now. I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I know they're not giving all of that funneling it to the team, but I'm sure the coaches are
they're coming up
tucking
with stuff.
away a lot of knowledge. Yeah.
ASU's going to be tough no matter who they play in that game.
Yeah. And I mean, look, the one thing that stands out is, and I've heard a lot of national writers talk about this, is Texas hasn't seen a Cam Scadaboo.
No.
And I think we know that, and they know that it's not all about him. Right? It has to be, you have to be able to throw when you're in that situation. And even without Jordan Tyson, I think guys have really stepped up in his absence in that game. We saw Guillory, we saw
Stovall on that long 63-yarder.
What a great call.
Not a lot of coaches that would make that call.
No,
it worked.
That's gutsy. And then Sam Levitt's shown a lot of poise. So when you look at the opportunity that they have on offense with Scadaboo at the center of it, and then you have Shamari Simmons, who is missing that first half, but. And they have a lot of guys on defense that have. The other thing I marvel at is just looking at where all of these pieces came from.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Tyson came from Colorado, and I think Simmons came from Austin Peay, I believe it was. And
yeah, that's what's crazy now is like everybody's been to 2 or 3 colleges.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it is these days. But you kind of sit back and look at it all, and you say, was this just incredible recruiting of just the right player and the skill, or is it a combo of that and the coaching? And I just think it is, and that's why Kenny Dillingham always says it's a special group, because I think it's a marriage of all of this amid the chaos that is college football today.
Yeah, that's rare.
It's just a beautiful thing.
And only so much of that can you really control. Like some of it is just this is right time, right place, right chemistry. And I do think the defense is the most underrated part of this team. So we'll see how they show up on New Year's.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.